Clutch Sports Talk. Let's go. Happy Sunday morning to you guys. It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the house. Welcome to another early edition of NFL Sunday morning, man. We got week 2 action to take place today. We got a ton of games today that are really going to be impactful. I think it's going to says a lot about the season moving forward. But I just again, I'm excited, man. I love waking up. I love doing this show. I love giving you guys my predictions. I love giving you guys my insight on what's going on in the NFL. Hey, but without further ado, man, let's just get straight into the show. What up, what's up, everyone? It's NFL Sunday morning with me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk in the house. Hope you guys are doing well. You guys on the West Coast, man, thanks for waking up with me, man. Hope you got your first pot of coffee, whatever you got drinking. You guys on the East Coast, man, hey, thanks for rocking with me. But we got another great show in store for you guys today to get you guys ready for NFL Week 2 action, man. We got tons of big games today. We got some divisional games. We got some rivalry games. We got some games that we want to see some teams, how are they going to respond maybe after taking that first week loss. Some teams that won a big week, how are they going to react this week? So, but before I get into that, I want to kind of touch base a little bit about the Thursday night game between the Washington Redskins and the New York Giants, which I did predict. And right now I'm doing good, man. I was 3-1 last week with my clutch picks. And I picked the Monday night game correctly. I got the Raiders to win at home, which was a crazy game, an overtime thriller. And then I got the Redskins, the Washington football team. So I'm doing all right, man. So, but before the show is over tonight, today, I'm going to give you guys my week 2 clutch picks. So make sure you stay tuned for that. You don't want to miss out on that. Maybe if you want to play some bets, if you trust me or not. But anyway, other than that, man, we got a lot of storylines today. How are the Saints going to react, after that big win against the Green Bay Packers? How the Packers are going to react after that terrible loss they had last week. We got a divisional game, a big matchup with the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins, which I'm going to break down as well. It's just the Cowboys got a big one today too as well. Hopefully they can pull it out against Justin Herbert and the LA Chargers, and they're missing a few key pieces on the defensive side of the ball. Michael Parsons is going to play defensive end. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we got lots to get into. So the first game I'm going to talk about today is the Cincinnati Bengals. They're on the road at Soldier Field. They're going to be taking on the Chicago Bears. Now, this line may have changed, but when I created this slide, this is what it was. The total was 45. The Bears are the favorite, -2.5, as you can see. This one's interesting. I think the Bengals could actually win this one. This is not one of my clutch picks, but I can see them winning this game. I thought, they did pretty good last week. They beat the Minnesota Vikings, who, for whatever is worth, are they a playoff team? Probably not this year, but they got some offensive power. But today they're going on the road against Andy Dalton, which for those of you who followed my shows, I'm not a big fan of him, and I don't understand what the hell the Chicago Bears are doing. Just throw Justin Fields into the pit and see what the kids got. So, you know what? This one's interesting. Again, who's got the better quarterback? I would say the Bengals have the better quarterback at this point. Bengals still cannot protect, and the Bears, at least for whatever it's worth, they still have a really solid pass rush with Khalil Mack and Hakeem Hicks back in there in the middle. So, this one's going to be interesting. I would not be surprised, though, if the Bengals end up winning this game. It'll be a close one. But, the Chicago faithful are hopeful that Justin Fields will get in. And this might be the last time we see Andy Dalton for quite some time. Maybe, he gets the start. He's not going to do that well, unfortunately. He is what he is. Trust me. I had him last year as a Cowboy. As our Cowboys quarterback, really didn't do that much, to be honest with you, and he had more weapons than he does in Chicago. This is one you want to be interested on, because it can get out of hand. Jamar Chase broke out last season. I believe he was like rookie of the week this week 1 after having a horrendous preseason, dropping everything that was thrown his way. It looks like he kind of stepped his game up, him and Joe Burrow going back to their LSU days. So, the Bengals are on the come up, but I don't like them. I don't like their protection. Joe Mix is a hell of a running back. I think the Bengals have a little bit more firepower. If this probably should have been one of my picks, that I'm talking about it. But I like the Bengals. I like this one. I like this one to be close. But I like the Bengals going on the road with Joe Burrow and just beating out the Bears and Andy Dalton. So we'll have to see. Next game, Texans and Browns. This one is in Cleveland. Now, the Browns are coming off a tough loss against the Kansas City Chiefs, a game in which they probably should have won, but they let it slip away in the stretch. They're going to be out for revenge, or a vengeance. As you can see here, the spread on this one was 12.5. Now, the Texans had a pretty solid win against the Jags, but let's just be real. They're playing against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which, that's not a great football team at this point. Trevor Lawrence really struggled a little bit, even though he did throw for over 300 yards, if I'm not mistaken. But interceptions and turnovers, things of that nature. Now they're not playing the Jags this week. They are going on the road and they're playing the Cleveland Browns, who, to me, if not, is one of the best teams in the AFC, and it is the best team in the AFC, despite that loss last week against Kansas City. So this one's a no-brainer. I just don't see how the Texans do anything in this game. I think that's why the line is so big. You're talking about 2 touchdowns basically, which is a lot in the National Football League. A lot of people will say, well, the Texans suck, but look, when it comes down to spreads and things like that, 2 touchdowns on a professional team, that's hard. That's hard. But the odds makers say, hey, you know what? The Browns are a way better team. With their running game, their passing game. OBJ, I believe, should be active today, if I'm not mistaken. He wasn't last week, so who knows what that means. And the Texans, to me, even though they had a good win, and they might play tough because they do have some guys on that team, they're not completely desolate. But come on, the talent disparity is just so much different. Now, if this game is close, I'd be really surprised. I'm going to keep my eye on this game anyway, just because I like watching the Browns. I like what they're doing there. But this one, honestly, man, this one should be a lock. I probably should even include that in my shows. Just having a lock pick. If there was a lock pick this week, this should be the lock pick of the week for sure. You got here the totals 48. You know what? This one, I was close. I was close to picking the under on this one, but I didn't. I stayed away from it just because, you just never know. But this game can go under just because I don't think the Texans are going to have enough firepower, and the Browns are going to run the football, and they're going to just try to get out there. But the spread says they're going to win by 12, at least 2 touchdowns. So the likelihood of them being under is probably not likely. So that's why I stayed away from this game, because I wasn't quite sure on which way the line was going to go on that one. So all right, interesting game here. So LA Rams traveling to the Midwest to play the Indianapolis Colts in Lucas Oil Stadium. The Rams coming off a very, very convincing Sunday night win against the Chicago Bears last weekend, and the Colts coming off of a very dismal performance where they could not protect Carson Wentz for whatever reason. And it's strange because they arguably have one of the best offensive lines in all the National Football League. They got Quentin Nelson back, which, he missed some time, because I forgot what was wrong with him. Was it COVID or something was wrong with him? Carson Wentz came back after being out with the leg. Then he had COVID. Now the Seattle Seahawks got after him. They got after him. Now I expect them to bounce back this week, but this is going to be tough because Aaron Donald's coming in, and guess what? Him and Quentin Nelson are going to probably match up a couple times. So it's going to boil down to, can they protect Carson Wentz? And I don't know. I don't know if they could. I don't know if they can, especially based on that performance that I saw last week. Now the Rams have a very strong I won't say strong secondary, but Jalen Ramsey basically will cover half of the field. Not sure the Colts have anybody that really can challenge him. So for this reason, I like the Rams, honestly, in this game, just because, you know what? Matthew Stafford right now is probably better than Carson Wentz. And I think that the coaching schemes and the strategies just bode well for the LA Rams in this particular game. But I think the Colts should make an improvement, but it's going to boil down, like I always say, can they protect Carson Wentz? And can Carson Wentz get rid of the ball quickly? I don't know. It's funny because the Colts, to me, they're this team that, a lot of people on paper, their defense is solid, right? They didn't show that really last week, but, there's a lot of variables as to why the defense didn't really play the way they did, because 3 and outs, turnovers, things of that nature. If you're on the field a lot, you have more of an opportunity to get scored on, things or whatever, et cetera, et cetera. But the Rams right now are one of the hottest teams in the National Football League. They're one of the sexiest picks for a lot of people to make the Super Bowl. coming out of the NFC, and people are just swinging from Matthew Stafford right now. They're swinging from you know what. So it is what it is. You know, this is a tough match for the Indianapolis Colts. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get to. So be on the lookout for this game. Like I said, it's going to boil down to the down in the trenches. Who can protect who can get after who's quarterback, and that's who's going to win this game for the most part. Now, this game is a big one, especially in the AFC East. This is one of my clutch picks, so I won't give away my pick, but you could probably listen. You probably can tell who I'm leaning towards. But here's the thing. Bills coming off a sad loss against the Pittsburgh Steelers at home where they were up, I think, like 10 points, and you blow that game. Josh Allen, he didn't play terrible, but he didn't play up to people's expectations. He was like one of these guys that everyone thinks is going to be a front runner for the NFL MVP. I'm not quite sold on him yet. I'm not saying he's terrible. He's not trash. He's a very talented guy. He's gotten better each and every year since he's been in the National Football League, considering he played at Wyoming in the Mountain West, which a lot of people let's just be real, who's watching Mountain West football other than people that live in this region? Okay, so put it that way. Now the Dolphins, coming off a pretty good win themselves last week. I believe, who did they play? I forgot who they played, but they won, right? They won. And their defense is strong. Oh, they beat the Patriots. That's right. They beat the Patriots. It was kind of a low-scoring game, 17-16, if I'm not mistaken. Tua really didn't do a lot. But here's the thing. You got a team from the Northeast, from Buffalo. They're traveling down to Miami, South Florida. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. It's going to be muggy. And I'm just assuming, I didn't even check the weather report yet. I probably should check that. But I'm just assuming this time of year, it's hot and muggy down there. Probably a little rainy. Not sure if the Bills are going to be ready for that. Like, most teams aren't ready for that. And a lot of teams that come from the Northeast that play in Miami, you see it all the time. New England goes down there. They struggle for some reason. Bills have struggled in the past. The Jets, all those teams from that area where it's a little cooler, a little dry air. You probably wondering, like, is this the Weather Channel or NFL Sunday Morning? Well, it's NFL Sunday Morning, but I'm just telling you, as a former player, not in the National Football League, but as a former athlete and playing in conditions like this, it sucks. It definitely sucks. And so I think the Dolphins are strong enough on defense and in special teams. And if Tua just doesn't turn the ball over and can make decent throws to the guys he's got there now, the Dolphins will win this game. And this one, and I just gave away my pick, but this one is interesting. I'm surprised that the Bills were still favorite, just because of the situation. If they were at home, I would say the Bills would probably be the favorite, but -3 on the road to a very strong team in the Miami Dolphins with a great head coach and Brian Flores. Now, if I think basically the -3 comes from the quarterback play. They're saying Josh Allen is way better than Tua, which I'll give them that. But I think after that, I think the Dolphins pretty much are up to par, if not better than the Buffalo Bills. So this one, I'm definitely going to be watching, because it's my wife's favorite team. She loves the Dolphins. So I'm going to bet with them today. Hopefully it doesn't burn me. So anyway, moving on, Patriots and Jets, another AFC East divisional matchup. You got the Patriots on the road. Zach Wilson is going to get his first home start in the New York Jets uniform, official first start. Battle of two rookie quarterbacks, Mac Jones, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, obviously, we know who went number one. Mac Jones went, I believe, 10th to the New England Patriots. They kind of felt him. I wouldn't say he played bad last week. He played a tough defense. Now, you're not playing the same type of defense this week. So we're going to see what the Patriots can do. Patriots are going to come out and run the ball. I believe N'Keal Harry is supposed to start or get some playing time this week, the wide receiver for the Patriots. I believe he missed time last week. Is he a big factor? No, not really, because he might be on his way out anyway in New England. So this one is going to be, the storyline is interesting for this game because you got two young quarterbacks. And Bill Belichick is very good at scheming against young quarterbacks, especially rookie quarterbacks. He's going to throw stuff at him that this guy has never seen, and they probably never planned for it. So this one is going to be interesting. Will it be exciting? Will I think, will the ball be slung around all over the place? Probably not. If anything, the Jets might be throwing the ball a little bit more with Zach Wilson. The thing with Zach Wilson, I saw some good things out of him last week. He's got really good zip on the ball. His timing is pretty good. His accuracy is really good. The one thing that concerns me about Zach Wilson is his durability. He's a small guy. He's a small quarterback. And there were some hits last week that he took in that Panthers game that I was like, he got up slow. he looked like me sometimes when I get up in the morning. Like he was, it was hard for him. And I don't know, eventually they can't really protect him. One of their best offensive linemen is out for at least 6 to 8 weeks. And I forgot his name, Becton, the left tackle. So I don't know how they're going to protect this guy. I don't know. But this one's going to be interesting just because I said that the quarterbacks, they're both rookie quarterbacks in the same draft class. So, and it's a divisional game, and those divisional games usually run really tight, as you can see in the spread there. So, total 43. This could be under. This could easily be under, just because both teams don't really have that pop that we saw, or that we think, at least the Patriots we thought could have had, considering all the offseason moves that they made this past offseason. So, interesting one. This one is one of those games where, in the top of the show, those teams that had really good wins, how will they bounce back this week? Now, the Eagles, they blew out the Falcons on the road last week, and now all the Eagles fans are like, oh yeah, Jalen Hurts and blah blah blah, and it's crazy how good they are now. Like, okay, relax. Now, you played the Falcons, who I'm never taking the Falcons ever again in my life, because they just totally just wrecked one of my tickets that I had. Didn't even score a touchdown. And I don't even know if Kyle Pitts even played, to be honest with you. I don't remember seeing him. But anyway, the Eagles, shout out to them. They won the game. Jalen Hurts looked good. Devontae Smith looked good. Jalen Reagor had a touchdown. Smith had a touchdown. So, but now you're at home, all right, in a big spot. The 49ers, another team that a lot of people like to go to the Super Bowl, or at least compete for the Super Bowl. They're coming off of a kind of a weird win in a sense, and they're playing back-to-back road games. I'm not sure if they traveled back to Santa Clara, or did they stay where they were at and maybe train somewhere, because they were just in Detroit last week Sunday. So that could play a factor. The whole Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance type of, they were switching in and out. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but they blew like a 20-something point lead. They let the Lions right back into this game. No, I think the Niners are still a better team defensively. And offensively, we know that they can score. They can score. They may not have like really household names, but you got guys like Brandon Ayuk. Mostert is out. They got a new running back in the backfield, but you still got George Kittle. You still have Deebo Samuel, who's another tremendous young player. They got guys that can get it done. And of course, we know their defense can get it done. So, Eagles fans, you might want to temper your expectations, because, before going into the season, everyone's like, the Eagles suck. Nick Sirianni is terrible. They win one game against the Atlanta Falcons, and now everyone's like, oh yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. It's like, relax. Okay. All right. This one was a tough one for me, just because I don't like the Raiders, right? And they're coming off a big win last week, or this past Monday. But then Josh Jacobs is not playing. Now, Kenyon Drake is pretty formidable, right? My problem with them is, are they going to be able to block for Derek Carr? Now, you're playing. Now, the Steelers aren't like just world beaters, right? Don't get me wrong, right? They're not world beaters, right? And this is another clutch pick of the week. They're not world beaters, especially on offense, because Ben Roethlisberger is like, it's like when we were watching Drew Brees, in his last couple of years. It's like he just doesn't have it anymore, and Big Ben just doesn't have it anymore. They still couldn't block for Najee Harris, who they drafted in the first round, if I'm not mistaken. Chase Claypool is their best wideout, because, like I said, every week Juju really is just like, I don't know. Defensively, their front seven is ridiculous. It's redonkulous, as some people would say. Are the Las Vegas Raiders going to be able to keep Derek Carr? Because we know the Raiders have the offense. They do. They got some guys they can throw the football to. Now, how is that going to go into play when the strength of the Pittsburgh Steelers is their defense, and more importantly, their pass rush? You got TJ Watt, who's, basically sat out all camp, came back and just was wrecking the Buffalo Bills in the second half. Now, how do the Raiders bounce back? This is, and I picked the Raiders to finish second in the AFC West, right? So I'm giving them a lot of credit. And I picked them to win last week Monday against the Baltimore Ravens, right? Because I knew, right? But now you're coming off an emotional win. It's a short week, some say, right? Because, you played the Monday. They probably, got treatment on Tuesday, probably put the game plan in Wednesday, had to travel, et cetera, et cetera. Now they're going to the Northeast in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Steelers are pretty solid at home. Big Ben probably looking to bounce back last week offensively. But It's again, this kind of goes back to the Colts Rams game. Can the Raiders protect Derek Carr? Derek Carr, he was pretty good. I wouldn't say he was like tremendous. He was really good on Monday night, right? He targeted a lot of guys. The Ravens started to take Waller away a little bit, right? He found guys like Zay Jones, Byron Edwards, the kid that they drafted. Henry Ruggs kind of got in a little bit at the end there, but I don't know if he's going to have this much time to go down the field with guys like TJ Watt. Because look, the Baltimore Ravens, they're good. That's a good defensive team, but they don't nearly have the pass rush as the Steelers do. They don't. They don't. So this one is going to be very interesting to watch. Again, a fun game to watch because I think, it's going to be a battle of wills. Will the Raiders offensive powers take over the Steelers or the Steelers line take over that game? So be on the lookout for this one. This is a 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time game. So for you guys on the West Coast, that's 10 a.m. So, that's about an hour and a half from now. So that's what you want to look out for. I'm telling you right now. All right, Saints and Panthers. Saints still favorite in this game. And I say that reluctantly because they got like 6 or 7 guys out on the COVID list, which includes Marshawn Lattimore, their star corner, their top cornerback, who will not be playing in this game. And why is that important? Well, the Panthers got some weapons now on the outsides. I mean, they had DJ Moore there. You had Robbie Anderson. They got some guys. Christian McCaffrey can line up there as well. I like the Panthers. This is one of my other clutch picks of the week. I like the Panthers at home. Sam Darnold get the job done. And the Saints coming off a great win. And I think Jameis didn't throw for a lot. He had like 5 touchdowns, but he was like 148 yards total, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm not hating on the Saints. So for you Saints fans, I'm just pointing out obvious things here. It's like you're missing 6 or 7 guys on the COVID list, right? And Marshawn Lattimore is one of your guys, and that's important. Oh, Najee Davenport also not playing. One of their I think he's the left defensive end. So that's how are they going to generate a pass rush? We saw what they did last week to the Green Bay Packers, but there's a whole lot of problems going on with Green Bay that they don't even realize. Like they're in total denial. I like the Panthers in this game. Straight up, not to cover, I'm talking about straight up. I'm taking the Panthers straight up to win this game, just because of all the people that are missing from the Saints. Now, if the Saints had their guys, I would come and say, you know what? I like what they're going to do. But for whatever reason, I'm just going to pick the Panthers, and hopefully it works out for me today. All right, you got the Denver Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars today. Broncos, good win against the Giants, solid win. Right now, you're going up against the Jags, who pretty much got demolished last week by the Texans. Will they bounce back? Will Urban Meyer get his guys ready to go? Not sure. I don't think so. I like the Broncos. I like the Broncos roster. Now, I picked them to finish last in the AFC West just because obviously we know it was a flip-flop, because honestly it's Kansas City and it's everybody else. They have a really good talented roster, especially on defense. They got some young offensive weapons, but the quarterback play, I think that's what it boils down to. Now, Teddy Bridgewater is not complete garbage, but in that division, some people might say he's better than Derek Carr. I don't think so. But I like it for this particular game. I think the Broncos are going to come out. They're going to do what they got to do. The Jaguars, to me, are just not a good football team at this point in time. They're young, new head coach. This is probably one of those other games. It'll probably be hot there too. You're going to Florida, but I think the Broncos take care of the job. This one is big. This was big to me because last week, if you watch the show, I was on the Cardinals. I was saying, look, the Cardinals are arguably in the best division of football, right? NFC West. And they needed to have a statement game because the last couple of years we've been like, oh yeah, the Cardinals are good. Kyler Murray, they got to take that next step. And they needed to win a game like they did last week against Tennessee. And they went, and not only did they win, they dominated that game. That score does not reflect the domination that was set forth last week Sunday in Nashville, Tennessee. Now they come back home. You got the struggling Vikings, who, they're good. They're missing some guys on defense, right? And the Cardinals are good. Chandler Jones had 5 sacks in the game, 3 sacks in the first quarter. JJ Watt provided a lot of pressure. I don't think he had any sacks, but he had a lot of pressures. And sometimes that's better than getting the sack because you move the quarterback off his spot. This is another win you have to get when you're at home, when you want to be a good team. When you look at your schedule, right? We've all done this if you played, team sports where you have a schedule or just anything. You look on the schedule and like, this has to be a win. And in this case, last week was kind of like a 50-50. They won the game, right? This week, you got to win this game against the Minnesota Vikings. You have to. This is one that you circle and say, you know what? We're winning this game. We're going 2-0 because you're going to have to stay in competition in this division because a lot of these teams are good and they all won last week, right? So you got to keep pace with the rest of your teams that you're competing against in the NFC West. But this one, it should be rocking at State Farm Stadium, formerly known as University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. Wonderful stadium, wonderful fans. I can't say too much about the Arizona Cardinal fans and their stadium. But this is the afternoon game, one of the first afternoon games. So Cardinals all the way, man. They should. And if they don't get it, it's like they fooled me again. All right, Falcons Buccaneers. Again, this is kind of like the Browns game against the Texans, minus 12.5. The Falcons really just was a disappointment last week. This is a divisional game. The Buccaneers coming off of a great win against, well, I'm saying a great win, a close win against my Dallas Cowboys. Again, they should have lost if the Cowboys have taken care of business in the red zone. They didn't. And in the field goal, the kicker, he missed a bunch of kicks. So anyway, the champs won in ugly fashion, but that's what championship teams do sometimes. It's always going to be pretty. Today, I think they win pretty easily over the Atlanta Falcons. I have no faith in them anymore at this time. And I had them as one of the surprising teams. It's still early, but this is not a good matchup for them just because I don't know. I just don't think they're going to get it done. So this is probably another lock, I would say. All right. Moving along, we're heading to the Northwest. The Tennessee Titans and Seattle Seahawks. They are squaring off today. Seattle coming off of a very, very solid win against the Indianapolis Colts last week. Their defensive line was tremendous. Russell Wilson looked great throwing the Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. This is your home opener. The Titans are in a tough spot because they're probably going to go 0-2. Seattle, we all know Seattle is very good at home. And not only at home, but early on at home in the season. And the whole let Russ cook, well, he's cooking. He's going to be cooking now. He's going to be cooking the next couple of weeks. And the Titans really just don't have it. I can see Derrick Henry probably getting stopped again for under 100 yards. The Seahawks defense is good. They don't have a lot of big-time players other than Bobby Wagner. I think him and Russell Wilson are only two players left over from that Super Bowl team. But those are two good ones, two great ones. But on their defense, they got guys that they've done a good job just drafting, right? So Derrick Henry, if this game gets out of hand quickly, you can see Derrick Henry not being utilized in this game to get back in it. The Seahawks are favored at minus 5.5. Yeah, Seahawks, I think, will probably walk away with this one. Now, this is a big game for for the Cowboys, really, and even the Chargers, right? The Cowboys coming off of that Thursday night loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, like I said, they probably should have won if they put the ball in the end zone or in the red zone, right? But they didn't. Dak threw for over 400 yards. I think he had 4 touchdowns. The one pick really wasn't his fault. It was a drop, basically, by CeeDee Lamb. Zeke did not have most people say he didn't have a great game. Look, and I went back and watched the tape. If you watch the game, no, he didn't have a great game in regards to rushing the ball, right? But he stepped up a lot, picking up blitzes, blocking, and that's part of the job of a running back as well. So people, calm down. I think Zeke does get back on track. Will Zeke be the top back anymore? No, I don't think he's that guy anymore. But if he's 75% of what he was, hell, even 80% of what he was, that's still really good because the Cowboys are only going to go as far as Dak Prescott throws them, right? Now, Dak can't come on and throw 58 times a game. We can't do that. But today they might be in a shootout because the Chargers can score as well. This one, I did not pick the win or loss in this one. I took the over in this game because I think it's going to be a shootout in Inglewood in SoFi Stadium. No pun intended for people from Inglewood and shootouts. I wasn't trying to make fun of anybody, but that's what it is. This one's going to be a shootout, man. Chargers coming off a solid win against the Washington football team. But I'll tell you what, their defense this week, the defense is playing a much better offensive team. Now, the Washington football team, for whatever it's worth, they got Terry McLaurin and it was Ryan Fitzpatrick last week. Tyler Heineke came in, but look, it's different. The Cowboys are down Michael Gallup, right? But you still got Amari Cooper, depending if he caught the plane, because sometimes we know, Cowboys fans, he does not always travel well. Uh, and then CeeDee Lamb, he continues to drop the ball, even though he's exciting to watch, still drops the ball. But I think for the Cowboys to get going, they got to run the football a little bit more effectively to get some other guys on. Dak will spread the ball around. We've seen that. He does spread the ball around. And as far as the Chargers are concerned, Justin Herbert just needs to keep doing what he's doing. He was great last week in third down conversion, especially late in the game to ice that game, which it was a close game. It was, and like I remember last week I was saying, that's a tough game to start on the road in the nation's capital against a really good team. At least their pass rush is really good. And you saw that in the Thursday night game where that pass rush, when they get after you, they get after you. Now, if they don't get after you, you have opportunities to beat them. And so I think this week the Cowboys are not going to get after Justin Herbert because, look, DeMarcus Lawrence is out. I believe Randy Gregory is still on the COVID protocol. So I don't know who else. I mean, just this morning I read Micah Parsons is going to spend time at DN today, right? Which I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work because, look, the Chargers invested a draft pick in Rashawn Slater, who played tremendous last week. I don't think he didn't give up any sacks or any pressures last week as a rookie against arguably the top defensive line team in all the National Football League. So not sure how it's going to work. The Cowboys are going to probably have to generate some takeaways in order to kind of maybe keep pace. But this is going to be a shootout for sure. Now I'm going to pick my Cowboys to win. Of course, this is a game that they could win. They could, and I'll be honest with you. I mean, when they played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I picked them to lose and they lost, right? But I'm a realist. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, Cowboys all day," right? I'm very subjective. Or objective, excuse me, in regards to my team. But this is a game that they should win. Honestly, I think they could win, but they should win this game because a lot of people think Dak Prescott is not better than Justin Herbert. Well, I beg to differ, and we'll see today on the field. So, all right, Sunday night football game. I'm not going to talk about the Monday night game until tonight on my primetime show. So if you stay tuned for that, I'll give you my thoughts about that game later on tonight. But Sunday night game, can Lamar Jackson beat the Patrick Mahomes? I mean, I believe he's 0-3 or 0-4 now against the Chiefs, right? So, look, they're coming off a tough loss. They come here to Las Vegas. They lose on Monday Night Football. Now you got to travel back home, and you're playing the Chiefs. Hey, Patrick Mahomes, they own you. They have your number. I am still not on this. Lamar Jackson is like gonna lead them to a Super Bowl. I think he's a good player. He's an outstanding player. And I know he's won, unanimous MVP. Really, that doesn't mean anything, right? We've seen guys win these types of awards, and it doesn't mean anything. They're great regular season players. He's been to the postseason a couple times now. I believe, only has one win. I'm not putting it solely on him, but he's fun to watch. He's exciting to watch. But in regards to quarterbacking, Patrick Mahomes is the better quarterback overall. You saw the Raiders defense at one point, they can get, he had, as far as the turnovers are concerned, because that's something that people bring up a lot. Here's the thing. When he literally is the Baltimore Ravens offense, literally. So I'm okay with him. I'm not okay with him turning the ball over, but for the amount of the touches that he has, it's inevitable that he's not going to have a lot of turnovers, and he will have a lot of turnovers because why? He's like 95% of their offense. There's some crazy stat like that. So without him, they have they're really not that great of a team offensively. They got all these guys that they brought in Devontae Freeman, Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray. Like these are guys are older running backs. They're not going to carry a football team, right? You go out and draft a wide receiver, he gets hurt. You still have Sammy Watkins, which I didn't even know Sammy Watkins was even still in the league, to be honest with you. So this team is centered solely around him, and I don't know if he can do it, man. I just don't see it. I like the Chiefs to go 5-0, or Patrick Mahomes to go 5-0, 4-0, or 5-0 against Lamar Jackson. I think it's pretty. I wouldn't say. And we got a comment, Bryson Carver. I never understood the criticism of Lamar Holmes not newsflash, not many guys. Right, and that's true. That's true. But Bryson, with all of the I won't say excitement, but the credit this guy gets, and you haven't beaten the top guy pretty much in your era, you're going to get heavy criticism, you know, unless you win a Super Bowl. Now, the only reason why we don't talk about Peyton Manning so badly because he got a Super Bowl, but he lost a lot to Tom Brady, which a lot of people lost to Tom Brady during their time, right? So, he's unanimous MVP. He's fun to watch. He's definitely exciting to watch. I love watching the guy play, but in regards to playing the position as a quarterback, I don't know if he can get it done because he does have timely turnovers. We saw that in the Monday night game. We saw that in the playoff game last year against the Buffalo Bills, which he ended up going out for the rest of the game. I believe he had a concussion. It's just something about him that he's good, but when you really need him to kick it into high gear, he was good against the Titans, right? He had a big run in a game that was close to win his first playoff game. But when you're playing the top echelon teams like the Chiefs, the Browns, those guys like that, you got to throw the football. You got to protect the ball. Can he make that big signature play? I'm not sure yet. And I want to say he's third, fourth year in the league. I think he is what he is now. I don't think he's going to become much better of a pocket passer, which that's not what he does. And so this is not what he does. Derek Carr's got more wins over Patrick Mahomes. He's got one. Right? And Derek Carr is not nearly as exciting or has more opportunities to play, the Chiefs every year now because he's a Raider. But look, they've matched up 4 to 5 times in the last 4 years. And you can't get it done. And the games I think the one game was close. I think not last year, but the year before. It might have been last year. I forgot. It was really close. But other than that, it's been pretty redonkulous how they've gotten beaten. So I don't know, man. I know you love Lamar Jackson. I think he's a great player, but to me, the Chiefs are just going to be too much for them to handle. They don't have enough to keep up with them, especially their deep line apps or whatever you're doing. But that's where we're at there. So, but I feel confident. I feel confident in my picks. Like I said, a lot of people pick straight up, and today I had 2 games that picked straight up, and then I like to do the point spread as well. And I like to pick overs and unders. I always think those are interesting lines to bet on because sometimes I don't know. Sometimes the games are so close, like the Cowboys-Charger game. I wanted to bet that game, but it was too close. I was like, you know what? I'm going to go with the over total on this one just because both teams can score. And they can score in bunches, as we can see. We saw the Cowboys, how much they put up the other night, a couple weeks ago in Tampa. And we know the Chargers are going to score the way their offense is geared. So, but like I said, that's where we're at with that. And yeah, that's it. That's everything I got for today, man. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Make sure you guys check me out later on this evening, afternoon, closer to the end of the Cowboys game or whatever that last game is going into the Sunday night game. I usually go live just real quick, about 15, 20 minutes, recap some of the action that happened today in week 2 and give you guys some more, pregame analysis leading up to the Sunday night game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. You guys don't want to miss that. So that's roughly like around 4:30, 4:45, closely around that time. So that's like 8:30, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. So you don't want to miss out on that. Make sure you guys stay tuned to that. So, but hey, wow, 40 minutes does fly by a lot, man. I don't even realize it was 40 minutes, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Thanks for guys who were watching and commenting. Bryson Carver from the Carving Up Podcast. Thanks for the comment, man. Appreciate you. So, but hey, make sure you guys go pull up, show up, do what you got to do. Get your chips, get your drink on, whatever. Drink responsibly and watch these week 2 games. And I'll be back live tonight on Clutch Sports Talk NFL Primetime with me, Ryan Flowers, man. Hey, that's all I got. This is Clutch Sports Talk NFL Sunday morning with me, Ryan Flowers. Never settle till the work is done. I'll see you guys later on. Peace.